Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger and my friends. Today we're talking about this guy, Goldlewis Dickinson. So he's finally out. He's been out for a few days now, and he was a highly anticipated character. You know, lots of people want to see him for DLC, myself included. And maybe a little bit of a war between, if it was going to be him or Happy Chaos, but he had a lot of expectations, and in this video we're going to talk about if he lived up to those expectations, right? Is he worth all the hype surrounding him? So let's talk about it. So on a very basic level, gameplay wise, he's kind of a big boy, as you can tell, and the big boy archetype has certain things you expect out of it. And I think on that level, he's absolutely a success because, he's got some big stuff for him, right? He's definitely more of the brawler archetype, which we see a lot less of than the grappler archetype, which is usually what the big character gets in a fighting game. Because, as you probably well notice, he has no command grab. He has the regular grab, sure, whatever, but no command grab. So he's a lot more of a juggernaut than he is a Zangief. And that's fine. Not every big character in fighting games has to be all about the command grab, right? I do like that he's specifically all about guard crushes, huge amount of chip damage, large amount of plus frames. I believe 6 of the 8 Behemoth Typhoons are plus on block, and the ones that aren't are still safe on block because they have an incredible amount of pushback anyways. He also, as a very large character, which is a little bit different than how it usually is very big on set play. You get the knockdown, and then, okay, here's the drone, and then you gotta block the drone because you're waking up to it in a hard knockdown, and then I'm gonna overhead or low and guess which one I'm gonna do. And he has a lot of lows, right? He has this, he has that, he has the Behemoth Typhoon low, he's got another Behemoth Typhoon low, he obviously has a dust overhead, he has the big boy overhead, he has the quick overhead here, like, he's brimming with overheads and lows, right? So his opportunities to crack you open are amazingly large, right? So I just appreciate it's a different take on the big boy formula. They could have just as easily gave him the command grab and then, go from there. He's just like a different version of Potemkin because, a lot of grapplers are, here's your base grappler and then here's variations of your base grappler, right? But they gave him his own identity and a giant jahonkin minigun to boot. So gameplay mechanics wise, I think it's a total home run. I think they did very well. And flavor wise, like part of the reason I was so hyped for him is just the entire ensemble, the whole look, right? Here's this giant general Texan dude, right? Like an army general and Texan. He's got horseshoes on his friggin' gloves, giant leather chaps. And of course I knew he was going to be a playable character from day one when I saw how many belts, how many belt buckles you can see on those chaps, right? More belt buckles equals more likely to be a Guilty Gear character. So he's already tied in with all that Americana stuff, the army stuff, the Texan stuff. Look at his security meter when it's filled out. It's literally glowing red, white, and blue. Like how much more American can you get? And then on top of all that, the icing on the cake is he's very much tied in with all like the American government conspiracy stuff. Because, well, kind of got an alien on his side, right? And I think that's very fun and interesting, especially because they're super leaning into it. From obviously the big coffin saying Area 51 on top of it, using the alien for various different moves. The fact that for some of the moves, the alien is handing you the weapon, right? Like he's the one tossing out the bomb. He's the one who gives you the minigun. He just literally takes it out of the chest and puts it back in the chest. That's really cool. And it's even a big factor in his win pose. The alien's like crank calling Goldlewis, I guess. And in the middle of him turning his back, the alien's abducting the person behind him. So Goldlewis is trying as hard as he can to deny the existence of aliens, which, to me growing up, X-Files, all that kind of stuff, government alien denials from the States, that was a big thing. And he's trying to do that, and obviously the alien's just messing around with him. So Goldlewis's pal, alien, friend, you are all right with me. Now, in this very early stage, it's hard to make tier assumptions, but a lot of people are saying he's probably on the weaker side of things because he is the big slow character with really no defense, but realistically, that's a lot of the cast. Only a handful of characters have an invincible reversal on demand. Most people, they got to spend meter to do so, right? And like someone like Zato doesn't even have an invisible reversal, so at least he has that. He is blessed with the high backdash invincibility, just like Noriyuki and Potemkin, so that is something to work with. Maybe he will be low tier in the end. I don't know. What we need to get past week 1 before we can make any definitive statements on that. Like, yeah, he probably has a bad match against Axel, but that's how Axel works. Axel is the feast or famine character, right? Either he runs over you or he gets runned over. There's very little in between there. We'll have to see how it shakes out, but even if he is on the lower tier end of things, he's still a triumph of design and mechanics, and I'd rather have a fun low tier character than just a totally by the numbers top tier character. So as a person, and perhaps I'm maybe not the best person to bring this up, I guess, as a declarative statement, if he lives up to the hype, me, the person who freaked out when I first saw him in the very first trailer for story mode, we didn't even know who he was yet, right? But I still lost my mind over him. And then when we finally got some more info, we learned his actual name. You know, I fanboyed out. I was going a little bit crazy, and you know what? I had the support to go crazy, so that definitely gassed me up further as well. But as the person who basically has been flying the flag about as hard as anyone can for this character, low tier or not, I am a massive fan, and I'm just so happy. Going forward, you know, unless weird things change or certain things happen, maybe Potemkin or Noriyuki gets big buffs or whatever in the future, he's definitely my main, just completely enamored with the character. And I guess as a small bonus part 2, because I don't really have anywhere else to put this, I've had a lot of people ask me about doing Behemoth Typhoon, struggling with Behemoth Typhoons, and let's just do a little bit of a mini guide while we're here, I guess. So a lot of people specifically have been asking me how to do the Behemoth Typhoons just without jumping. You know, like your half circles, your regular half circles, like whatever, those are no problem, right? And like things like down to up, like if you've ever played any grappler in your life, you basically just kind of do the 360 motion, right? Just you do 180 going up instead of a 270. So that's not too difficult. But the stuff like this, like how do you do that while remaining on the ground? That's the hard stuff. That's the tricky stuff. Because to do it raw and neutral, there's only one answer, and that is pure speed. Like for me here, honest test, let's do this live. How many times in a row can I do this without screwing up? 1, 2, 3. All right, doing better than I thought, actually. 4, and there we go, 5. I screwed up. So it's hardly perfect, and I'm doing this on a regular arcade stick, just so you know. It's hardly maybe the most reliable thing to do 100% of the time. And I'm just going purely off how fast I can input it. The true trick for a lot of these, and I got a bonus good note for you here, is you want to hide it in a buffer. And what I mean by that is this. You want to hide it inside of a move. Like you can do the move here, like say stand jab is our move. I do the move, and while I'm doing stand jab, I can't jump, right? That's just how it works. I can't jump. And I'm hiding the motion inside the stand jump. Or rather, the stand jab, right? So while the stand jab's happening, I can just do the motion freely because I know I won't jump. And then I'll go from there. Like, that's the big thing. That's the big secret. Now, you don't have to do stand jab necessarily, right? You can do, like, whatever normal. Like, crouch slash has really good range. You can do it, like, crouch slash into the big overhead. Or the other up direction one or whatever. Like, any given string, like slash slash up close. You can hide your motion inside of that. A lot of times, you're going to do what you want to do, and then end in a Behemoth Typhoon, right? So I can do this. Okay, did that. Now I'll go for like a low, or I'll go for the overhead, or whatever, right? So I'm hiding the motion inside me doing the move so I know I won't jump. So that's basically it. And it could be anything you want it to be. It could be something as simple as like crouching kick into the big thunderous overhead. Whatever you want it to be, just hide the motion inside a move. If they get hit, if they get blocked, whatever, like getting hit, obviously more preferable. But if they get hit or they block, either way, you're just hiding the move inside of that. For the regular motions here, like the ones that use like, you know, down at some part of it, that's not a big deal. But the ones that use the up, especially the ones starting with up, that's where you want to be doing that. You want to be doing it inside of a different move so you can hide the motion. So here's your silver lining on the matter. Of the 4 Behemoth Typhoons that can cause an issue with your jumps. So I'm talking this guy here, that guy, this guy, and this guy here. Only one of those four would I ever even consider worth using in neutral. Meaning there's really no situation you'd want to use them outside of buffering it in a string or a normal anyways. So you're good. Specifically, this one right here, I think is worth using in neutral because it's the longest range of all of them. That's fast. Like, it has slightly longer range than this guy here. Like, it'll connect from spots where that one will not. And the half circle forward one, this one here, the big home run swing, it has the range too, but it's quite a bit slower. So it has the range and it knocks them straight up, meaning you can be directly on top of them. So I think it's really good. And it's one you're going to be ending with pokes anyways. Like, it's going to be probably the go-to poke one. But that said, this is the only one of those four I think has a case for raw in neutral. Even the big overhead one here, like, yeah, you want him with the overhead, but you're going to be, like, there's almost certainly something you did preceding that. You're not just going to run up and do it, you know? If you want to just run up and do it, you might as well just go for, like, charged dust or something. And you'll get more damage, more than likely, unless it's in the corner with that anyways. So only one of the four you have to do in neutral, and even then, it's not that big of a deal. So once again, just buffer it into stuff, do it in strings, do it off normals, whatever you want to do it off of, just practice it doing it in a string, and you should never have problems worrying about the jump. What a cool character! What a unique character! I never would have thought any company would have the balls, the temerity to pull off something as insane as the Behemoth Typhoon, where it's technically one move, but you got to churn butter in 8 different directions to make it all work, right? And it worked, and it's also very intuitive because every single motion is the flow of that move, right? If you're going forward to down to back, the move goes forward to down to back. If you do down to forward to up, it goes down to forward to up. If you do down to back to up, it goes down to back to up, and so on and so forth, right? It's actually very elegant, despite how inelegant it is, right? Because everything just flows perfectly. To quote one man, it's like poetry, it rhymes. So in the end, I just couldn't be more happy with the character. He's everything I could have hoped for. If he does wind up being low tier, buff Goldlewis, I'll say that right now. And even if he isn't low tier, buff Goldlewis anyways. He needs it. He needs it. Just buff him. Come on. But yeah, so that's my opinion on the matter, my friends. And I would love to know your opinion. What do you think about Goldlewis? What do you like? Maybe what do you dislike? What do you think could be different? What do you think could be better? And other than that, that is the end of this video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Guilty Gear.